The movie opens with an eerie scene, a phone conversation, yet it's no ordinary business chat. Instead, it's a chilling transaction where a customer seeks not a golden retriever dog pet, but a human zombie who can serve dual purposes as a pet and a slave. The dealer at the other end has already dispatched the ordered item and gives strict instructions to the recipient, a man named Teramato. The dealer warns Teramato about the inherent risks. Feeding the zombie flesh might trigger its dark demonic side. For safety precautions, he has included a pistol gun in the shipment for any potential emergencies. The narrative then transitions to be a residential setting where the mysterious package is delivered to Teramato's doorstep. Teramato instructs his 2 bodyguards to unveil the content of the large crate, and with it, confined to a cage, is Sarah, the zombie pet and slave that was ordered. Teramato, together with his wife, Shizuko, and their son, Riku, gaze at their newest possession, Sarah. She's now their pet zombie and servant. As we follow Sarah to her room, a spine-tingling scene unfolds. We witness her stitching her own skin without feeling any pain, a disturbing display of her undead condition. However, the chilling atmosphere doesn't stop there. Sarah discovers a photo of herself from a time when she was still a human, pregnant and completely unaware of the terrifying future awaiting her. This picture is a somber reminder of her previous life before she became overwhelmed by zombies, turning into one herself and ultimately falling into the possession of the dealer. It suggests the normal life she used to have, which now sharply contradicts her current existence as a zombie being. As the new day breaks, Teramato directs his guards to prepare Sarah's living space near their own home. They present Sarah with a dress, urging her to dress quickly. In comes Shizuko, calm and composed in front of Sarah. She kindly instructs her to start cleaning the grubby floor, not as a harsh order, but as a way to keep Sarah occupied and keep off boredom. Sarah displayed no aggression whatsoever, nods silently and obeys Shizuko's instruction without any sign of protest. Meanwhile, as Sarah continues with her task, the guards find themselves curiously drawn to her. Around the same time, Shizuko finishes reading a story to Riku. Leaving the child's side, she decides to check on Sarah. To her astonishment, she finds Sarah operates the water jet with remarkable ease. This reminds Shizuko that Sarah was once a normal human, leading a regular life. Shizuko, still in her state of surprise, decides to prepare a meal for Sarah. However, before she can do so, Teramato appears. He strongly reminds Shizuko about their crucial role, no feeding Sarah any meat. She acknowledges this critical instruction, ensuring the safety of their household while caring for Sarah. As the day progresses, Shizuko serves Sarah her meal, expressing gratitude for the work she has done. Suddenly, Riku bursts onto the scene, intent on capturing the moment with his flashy camera. Sarah, uninterested, walks away while Shizuko runs after the camera-happy Riku. During her way back, Sarah encounters a less friendly group of kids. They bully her and even throw stones, but she continues on her path. Seemingly unfazed, her journey's further flawed by an encounter with a group of thugs who attack her, stabbing her as she passes. But being a zombie, she feels no pain and disregards the attack as though it were a minor inconvenience, continuing her journey undeterred. Upon reaching her room, Sarah sets her food down on the table. Only then does she tend to the knife embedded in her body, pulling it out with a detached calmness. Sarah proceeds to eat her fruit, seemingly taking pleasure in her simple meal. The following day, Sarah returns to work and immediately starts her tasks. At the same time, Riku continues to capture more moments with his camera. Sarah appears unaffected and unresponsive when Riku takes a photo of her. However, when one of the guards gets hold of the photograph, he notices Sarah in a suggestive pose. As the day winds down, Sarah finishes her tasks and collects her meal. Shizuko bids her farewell, but Sarah doesn't respond. As she arrives home, another knife is seen lodged in her body, a grim indication that the thugs' attacks on her journey are a reoccurring incident. The subsequent day, Sarah goes back to her duties, her quiet demeanor serving as an emotional reminder of her tragic history. Immersed in her work, she diligently scrubs. The story then turns to the 2 guards, both unable to conceal their nasty stares directed at Sarah. After completing her cleaning tasks, Sarah seeks solace in a secluded corner, hoping for some time alone. However, the 2 guards, resembling lurking predators, pursue her. Unfortunately, the guards proceed to sexually assault Sarah, causing great distress. Soon after, one of the guards, having fulfilled his desires, exits the area and notices Teramoto approaching. Filled with fear, he hastily flees from the scene. However, instead of intervening, Teramoto merely watches the disturbing situation unfold between the remaining guard and Sarah. Remarkably, Sarah remains unaffected by their violation, her zombie nature depriving her of any emotional response. She retreats home not because of the trauma, but merely because her work is done. The following day, Sarah returns to work as if the previous day's events never occurred. She goes about her tasks, ignoring the very guards who had violated her, further underlying the chilling state of her existence. In an ensuing chaos, the guards dash towards the house, carrying an unconscious Riku. Shizuko is stunned to see her son in such a state, and her heart fills with terror as she learns about his accident near the pond. Despite Shizuko's desperate attempts to rouse Riku, her efforts prove futile as the little boy remains unresponsive, appearing to be lifeless. Shizuko's world crumbles around her, and in her despair, she rushes towards Sarah. Seized by a desperate idea, she grabs Sarah's arm and urgently leads her to Riku. In a breathless plea, Shizuko instructs Sarah to bite Riku, hoping that the zombie bite could resurrect her son, even if he has to return as a member of the undead. To Shizuko, having her son back in any form is better than the unbearable reality of his death. Just then, Teramoto enters the room, immediately realizing the dire situation. He tries to intervene and halt Shizuko's frantic action, but his wife, fueled by grief and desperation, pushes him aside. In an attempt to prevent Sarah from carrying out the unthinkable, Teramoto stabs her, but his intervention comes too late. Riku's already been bitten, setting him on the path to becoming one of the undead. Shizuko attempts to embrace her now zombified son Riku, craving for a moment of connection. However, to her surprise, Riku chooses to hug Sarah instead, seeking comfort from his zombie mother. This unexpected display of affection from Riku towards Sarah sparks jealousy in Shizuko. She promptly seizes Riku from Sarah's arms, pulling him into a hug, driven by her own need for motherly love. In the days that follow, Shizuko takes on the task of caring for her transformed son, but Riku shows little interest in food, another sign of his new zombie state. Amidst this uneasy routine, Teramoto decides to apologize to Sarah for his earlier act of stabbing her. However, his intended apology changes into a sexual desire, and he begins to engage in an intimate act with Sarah. Unbeknownst to Teramoto, his wife Shizuko is a silent witness to this shocking scene, her disbelief palpable as she watches her beloved husband betray her trust. Following this unsettling incident, Sarah heads home, once again braving the barrage of stones thrown by the bully kids. Despite enduring ongoing torment and the painful wounds inflicted by the thugs' assaults, Sarah's mind wanders elsewhere. She finds herself immersed in memories of Riku's heartfelt embrace, grasping onto the moment as a source of solace amid her troubled existence. The following day, Shizuko watches Sarah as she arrives for work. However, she chooses not to exchange the usual greetings, her mind clouded with grudge over the unsettling knowledge of her husband's actions. Sarah goes about her tasks as usual, cleaning the floors. However, this day is different. Zombie Riku stands near her, seemingly associating Sarah with his mother now in his undead state. Despite this apparent bond, Shizuko commands Riku to keep his distance from Sarah, to which he obediently complies. A twist occurs when Riku faints due to hunger. Shizuko and Teramoto frantically try to revive him, but their efforts are unsuccessful. Suddenly, Sarah steps forward. In a shocking move, she slices open Shizuko's hand, letting the blood drip into Riku's mouth. Given his new zombie nature, this rouses Riku from unconsciousness, a sight that fills Shizuko with a chilling horror as she sees firsthand the transformation of her son. In a desperate attempt to calm his terrified wife, Teramoto earnestly attempts to persuade Shizuko that Riku is merely in a state of shock, not truly a zombie. However, the sight of Sarah moving about with Riku faithfully following her as if she were his mother profoundly unsettles Shizuko. This sight strikes a heavy blow to her maternal heart, leaving her deeply disturbed. When the night descends, a new strength stirs within Sarah towards her bullies. She's not just fighting for herself now, but for her adopted zombie son, Riku, who needs blood to survive. Equipped with a knife, she confronts her regular tormentors and strikes one down. The next day, Riku sneaks away to find Sarah in a hidden meeting. Sarah offers him blood she has gathered from the bully she attacked the previous night. Then, resuming her duties, she scrubs away under the watchful eyes of the guards. Meanwhile, Shizuko's tormented by a haunting dream, Sarah walking away with Riku, the image of Teramoto gazing with admiration at Sarah's form from afar, only adds to her anguish. The relentless scrubbing sounds seem to echo in Shizuko's mind, amplifying her anxiety. This is made worse as she witnesses Sarah forging a deeper bond with Riku, united over his camera and cherished photographs. Shizuko's once warm demeanor towards Sarah has completely disappeared. Now it is Teramoto who brings food to Sarah, his actions laced with an underlying motive as he lightly massages her arm. Soon after, the usual group of bullies gather to launch their typical attack on Sarah. However, this time they hesitate when they met with her fierce gaze of defiance and ultimately choose to leave her alone. When the cover of night descends once again, it's revealed that Sarah's been gathering bodies. Her intent is not sinister, but born out of necessity. She's using the blood of the dead to nourish the zombie Riku. The following day unfolds with Teramoto looking at Sarah in a lustful way, his creepy whistles echoing his intent. Surprisingly, Sarah responds and follows behind him into a secluded room for more intimate encounters. Sensing the sexual tension, Shizuku races after them. What she finds is a scene of tenderness, Teramoto tending to Sarah's wounds and stitching up her battered skin. It dawns on her, her husband has fallen for Sarah. Shizuko's eyes turn bitter as jealousy consumes her. The feeling of losing both her husband and son to this zombie girl becomes overwhelming, fueling her frustration. Seeking an outlet for her emotions, she angrily attacks a piece of meat in the kitchen. Sarah, diligently cleaning the nearby floor, unknowingly becomes a pawn in Shizuko's scheme. Shizuko deliberately drops some meat, hoping that the scent of raw flesh will provoke Sarah's monstrous side. However, Sarah defies the expectation. She refuses to consume the meat and instead picks it up, offering it back to Shizuko. Undeterred, Shizuko persists and slices the meat, hoping that the sight and smell of fresh blood will seduce Sarah into eating it. The tension reaches its breaking point when Teramoto abruptly enters the scene. Witnessing this provocative act, consumed by anger, he storms off. The journey to reconcile with her husband takes Shizuko to a box filled with photos, intimate moments shared between Sarah and Riku. The sight stuns her, the shock escalates into desperation, leading her to retrieve the pistol that came with Sarah's package. However, unfamiliar with the weapon, she accidentally discharges it, shooting her husband who had just entered the room. In the midst of the escalating chaos, Sarah tightly embraces Riku. She shields him from the surrounding danger and swiftly leads him away from the scene. Shizuko, driven to the edge of madness, unleashes a rampage of violence and destruction. As Shizuko wreaks havoc, Sarah skillfully maneuvers through the turmoil, prioritizing the safety of the transformed Riku. Together they flee, but Shizuko relentlessly pursues them, intent on eliminating Sarah and reclaiming her son. During a tense chase, the story takes a sudden turn as we delve into Sarah's past through a vivid flashback. The flashback unveils a time when Sarah was a radiant and happy woman, pregnant with a baby, leading a peaceful life with her loving husband. However, their world was abruptly shattered by a horde of zombies attacking them. Despite her husband's courageous efforts to shield her, he submitted to the relentless onslaught, becoming one of the undead himself. Sarah managed to escape from the terrifying zombies and reached a hospital with hopes of delivering her baby safely. However, fate had another plan and her child was born lifeless. The flashback continues to reveal the heart-wrenching fate of Sarah as a malicious slave dealer captures her. He cruelly transforms into a zombie and uses her as a slave for his wicked business. Returning to the present, we witness Shizuko consumed by a mixture of anger and desperation, relentlessly pursuing Sarah. In the heat of the chase, Sarah stumbles and falls, leaving her vulnerable to Shizuko's attack. However, the transformed Riku, perceiving Sarah as his mother, intervenes and pulls her out of harm's way. This display of unwavering loyalty towards Sarah drives Shizuko into a state of utter madness, as the realization dawns upon her that her own son now recognizes Sarah as his mother. Overwhelmed by sorrow and anguish, Shizuko tragically takes her own life. Riku rushes towards the motionless body of Shizuko, desperately hoping to bring her back by biting her. However, his attempts prove unsuccessful, just as hope seems lost. Sarah arrives in the nick of time and bites Shizuko, aiming to resurrect her as a zombie. Miraculously, the act succeeds and Shizuko undergoes the transformation into a zombie. The first action Shizuko takes after her shocking transformation is to lovingly embrace her son Riku, reclaiming her role as his mother in this new, undead existence. The movie concludes with a heart-wrenching scene where Sarah, seeing herself deprived of her brief experience of motherhood with Riku, decides she has no reason left to continue her life. She picks up the gun and tragically shoots herself, marking the end of her tormented journey. Thank you for watching. Please don't forget to like and subscribe. We'll see you in the next video.